So the history of Elberton is typical of many earlier Whitman County settlements. Nestled in the valley and at the confluence of the North Fork of the Palehouse River, the Silver Creek, it provided an attractive location to establish a town. Elberton flourished for a while, and then it went into a irreversible decline. In the 1870s, attracted by a river and abundant timber, Giles D. Wilbur built a water-powered sawmill here that provided lumber for many early area barns and homes. In the next decade, the Oregon Railway and the Navigation Company built a rail line through the valley. The town was plated in 1886 by Sylvester M. Waite and named in honor of his son Elbert. By 1880,
Elberton.
Hence the name Elberton. By 1888, that's 1888, Elberton had a flour mill and a post office, 2 general stores and a blacksmith and a wagon shop, and 2 grain warehouses and livery stables and a church. And for all you ignorant fucks out there, he was bowling. The 1890 saw continued growth and the planting of fruit trees.
What year?
This is 1890, so 1890.
9 years before the fucking Burke.
Yeah.
Right, we're going way back. We're going way back here.
Somebody leaves the town.
This
and goes
is
to
a
mine.
fucking sitcom.
I lost my job
This
and I
is
had
a
to go
sitcom.
fucking become a miner.
And it's all tied together, and that motherfucker that ran Elberton is like the motherfucker that's on the dynamite
He's
train.
essentially the Donald Trump of Whitman County, y'all.
Okay.
The fruit trees is a major crop, by the way.
In Elberton?
In Elberton, right. That name conveniently named after himself.
Apple trees right next to that
He
church.
basically did what everybody wishes they could do if they settled, just name it after yourself. At the turn of the century, Elberton had a population of over 400 folks.
Ooh.
The world's largest... guys, check this out. If you ever wondered what the world's largest
You don't have to yell, Dave.
prune dryer was at the time, Elberton had that locked down. They were the largest prune dryer in the world.
All of you people that couldn't shit in the early 1900s, that's where you were shitting. You were shitting because of Elberton.
David stepped in shit when we were able to.
Well, hold on.
Just
Just to provide some context to everybody in Saudi Arabia in the year 1888, 1890, if you had a prune in your mouth, high likelihood it came from Elberton. Okay? If you were in China, if you were in India, right. The flour mill and the county's poor farm, I don't know what a poor farm is. The Elberton's picnic commemorating the town's founding was held for 3 days in June every year from 1893 to 1924. So basically post World War I, from 1893 to 1924, they held an annual picnic, which is lovely.
3-day picnic. That's a fucking bender.
Right. There's so much to say about this.
When was Prohibition?
20s.
That's a great question. Prohibition was it was probably after 24, wasn't it? It was between 25 and 35.
Continue with your history of the place.
Okay. It was one of the annual highlights for Whitman County old-timers. Okay. After the turn of the century, having cut all the nearby timber, the sawmill moved to Idaho. Following a devastating fire in 1908 and a serious flooding in 1910, Elberton began to decline, giving in to increased competition from other towns.
It was exactly 1920 for the Prohibition.
1920. Yeah. Okay, and how long did it go for? Was 20 to what? 20 to 25 or 20 to 20?
29 maybe.
So for 9 years, booze was illegal. Yeah.
Long time.
That's a long time. Yeah. Fuck you, government. Anyway, today most of the buildings are gone, but you can still find where homes once stood by the remnants of old foundations, non-native trees, and in spring daffodils that appear in long-forgotten flower beds.
Hill. Yeah.
Pine Forest is slowly reclaiming the old pastures and fruit orchards that once laid. The Whitman County Parks Department now owns much of the former town, preserving the land for future use. So get out of your house, y'all. Get off the fucking Call of Duty and go explore.
So at this fucking town, there's a cool church that's still standing. We got some cool pictures of it. You can't get inside it. It's all boarded up and fucking nailed and everything. There was a hill behind it, or I guess in front of it. Mike and I went up, and it's got like a ropes course. So we go up in there in the hills, and we find there's like a zip line, fucking climbing wall. We're just venturing all the way up the side of this hill, and there's just random shit, man. Platforms in trees, ladders everywhere that lead to nothing. There's a torn down, abandoned looking house thing. It's pretty much flat. Some old cars. We found some old cars from like
the 20s and 30s. They're all out there. Yeah, it's beautiful. You guys should go out there.
Decrepit, so they don't run or anything.
Well, they're not in tip-top shape,
No.
given the age, right?
Tire swings out there, just all lined up on cables. Like somebody built it in the 90s. They wanted people to go out there and have some fun. Maybe the 70s. I don't know. It's fucking old. But somebody built them, and it was interesting to see, man. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
Nope. It's just abandoned. So there's just ropes courses out that people don't
I have like a true appreciation for people who like love can appreciate old stuff. Like you're stupid if you just, if
it doesn't interest you.
Right. You show me somebody who's not interested in this shit, and I'll show you somebody with a TikTok account. It's yeah. Like
I've got a TikTok account.
No, but you're an entrepreneur. You're not a tard. No, and I will say this.
I posted an awesome video of a llama dancing. It was like to rap music. Talking about bitches twerking on shit. You tell me that's not fucking worthy?
If you go out to Elberton, you will be greeted by a friendly dog who actually is the designated host. He's a cancer dog.
He is where cancer and the coronavirus, I'm sure, came from. They cut off a part of his leg, a blubbery part of his leg that is just kind of hanging out.
He has a bulbous infection.
His foot is a ball.
It's horrible.
He's got stuff growing off his face. It's pretty gross. And he looks like he runs and walks like a fucking coyote. And looks like he's got a little bit of mange. So the poor fucking dog lives there. And there's a note on the church that says, "Do not take our dogs. They are your hosts here." Dog can't fucking talk to me. He wants to give me some cancer, but he can't fucking talk to me. Poor dog.
He walks at you.
Walks at you like, hey,
he's going to fuck you up.
Hey, we need to talk. We need to talk. Hey, we need to talk. And then you tell him to go home, and he kind of like stops, looks back at his home. He's like, I don't want to fucking go back there. Take me out of here. But the sign says we can't, so we can't do that.
He was a pleasant host, but I just
pleasant
don't want to
host,
touch him.
But honestly, instead of taking him home, he looked like he needed to be put out of his misery. That dog looked fucking miserable.
Fucking horrible.
And I love dogs. I love dogs a lot. But I don't want a dog to suffer. And that dog looked like he was fucking suffering. Yeah. Wet, just fucking cancer.
Remember that time he was looking at us and then looked over the field like there was something there? Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, he's just staring.
It's over by the well.
He's just staring at this fucking well house. Like there's something standing in front of it or something in it. Like
everyone knows that look when a dog's like, there's something over there.
Yeah. So we're like looking over there. Like, oh fuck, what's he looking at? So we walk over there. There wasn't anything there.
There was nothing there.
Maybe it was a ghost. I don't know. These are the types of places that you think there'd be ghosts and shit at. If there was any. If there are any.
Yeah. The cars were I can't get over the cars were
a tree growing through it.
No, this is what happens to a car when it sits for 75 years. It just sits there, and if you can't see it, but if you were to go under the
camera. Way more than 75 years.
Well, I would assume this car is from 1920 roughly, or maybe the 30s. But if you lift up the paneling, you'll see almost 3 feet of just space, empty space, like a cavern in there, where it's just like, where the fuck did everything else go?
The one we found up on the hill was like half buried.
Yeah,
that's just all the debris that has fallen over.
Did you get any pictures of it at all?
Yes.
Oh, sweet! I want to see that.
I'll show you.
Okay.
It's on my camera though. So.
But it's what it does show though.
It's not on my camera. I was trying to take video, and I was
considering the town went defunct in 1920. These vehicles are from the 20s,
or
which
earlier,
well, it shows that there was some prosperity there that existed, because if you most Americans didn't own fucking cars until the 50s. Like there was money flowing through there, and there was wealth to some extent, and it just there it is, there it dies, and there it is, and
like the car stopped there for its last time and never fucking moved, man.
Yeah, it's
you wonder what happened to the person. Why they didn't take their car with them? Maybe they fucking killed himself.
It was probably seen as like a luxury item. It was not seen as a, it's like when the town went under, it's like, fuck, our jobs are gone, our fucking livelihood's gone. Like, let's throw this toy away. Who cares about the toy?
No, I would think that they would take that and leave.
Yeah.
If you're leaving a car behind, it's because it's either broken or
can't maintain it right.
There's nobody that could drive it.
Sure.
So, say old Billy Bob worked down at the mill, the flour mill, and they were producing something, and he fucking lost his job, ended up hanging himself in the tree, in one of the orchard trees in his yard. That car ain't moving. Yeah. Nobody's going to take it. Because back then, they had, that's honor system, right?
Right.
Nobody's going to take your shit.
No.
Well, it's Billy Bob's house. It's just going to fall apart.
And it's funny, in Whitman County, you see that. You pass by farms and ranches and homes, and there is the first fucking car that somebody bought from the 30s or the 20s there, and they just...
Still there in the yard.
It is a piece of fucking history that they want to keep. See, listen, you fucksticks. That's called chrome right there. That chrome has survived for almost 75 years.
There's chrome on the one we saw, too.
Right. That tells you... I don't know. It does. It tells you that
that's some quality chrome.
Right. Well, you can also see in this picture here where they probably tried to restore it somewhere in the last 50 years. They sanded it down and buffered it and shit. They were probably going to try doing something with it, but yeah. Anyway, get out of your fucking houses. Turn off the social media. Go out there and look at these towns and pay respects to your forefathers. Because without these motherfuckers, you probably wouldn't have a job. Think about it.
It's true.
Right.
It's true. Very true.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you go.